Good morning, everybody. Sorry I missed out on last week. Just kind of had a last minute decision just to take Thursday and Friday off from social media on the whole. And so here we are, though, again, finishing up Mark chapter 15, and then we'll be on to Mark 16. And so we'll be finishing up the Gospel of Mark, and I don't know what my plan is after that. We shall see. Mark 15, verse 42 says, Now, when evening had come, because it was the preparation day, that is, the day before the Sabbath, Joseph of Arimathea, well, I'll pause. I'll pause right there. So interesting. Reconciling the Gospels. And this is not something I am necessarily prepared to do off the top of my head, but I can give you guys some information to chew on. What's interesting is that the Synoptic Gospels and John seem to be at odds with each other sometimes. And we know they're not. And I think that's the first thing is just, remembering they're not at odds. And if it seems like they're at odds, well, that's okay. Because once again, two people tell a story, they see things from different angles, they focus on different details. And so it says in John's Gospel, let's back it up here. I forgot it's in a different section here. Where is preparation? Okay, therefore, because it was the preparation day, that the body should not remain on the cross of Sabbath, for the Sabbath was a high day. Right, we mentioned that. And then where else? Basically, what I'm looking into is deciding what day was Jesus crucified on. And this whole thing with the Sabbath, that plays into it. Now, I will say this. After doing a lot of studying and trying to figure things out, it seems like Jesus was either crucified on a Friday or maybe a Thursday. And both would actually play out fine. You wouldn't run into any contradictions in the scripture either way. Now, some hold to a literalism that would actually create contradiction. So Good Friday has been a very long-standing tradition as the day of Jesus' crucifixion. And many have questioned that because they say, well, 3 days and 3 nights, there's no way you get 3 days and 3 nights if you go Friday, Saturday to Sunday morning. And since it's just a tradition, people feel like, well, then maybe we can just back out of this. They start thinking like, well, it's just a Catholic tradition or whatnot. Well, the tradition's older than the Catholic Church. The crucifixion being on a Friday, I believe, but I don't have any quotes on me on this one, is something that goes before we see the formation of the Catholic Church. This idea of a Friday crucifixion. Well, how do you fit 3 days and 3 nights in there? Well, firstly is understanding just the way that the Jewish people talked. Now, again, I don't have the chapter off the top of my head, but I want to say it would be in Esther chapter 4. And that's an example where it talks about, 3 days and 3 nights, but they come back on the third day. And it's like, well, wait a minute, 3 days and 3 nights, but on the third day, that's not 3 days and 3 nights. Right. But the Jewish people pretty much counted if it was any part of a day. And we see this actually a few places in Scripture. I think in Jeremiah, I did something on this. If it touches any part of a day, they would count that as part of the day and part of the night. And so there we find if Jesus is crucified on a Friday, you have that morning and then going into that night, then the Saturday morning and the Saturday night, and then into the Sunday morning, and it's on that third day. And why I say if we hold the literalism to a real strict literalism on 3 days and 3 nights, we run into a problem because, once again, wasn't planning for this, so I didn't write my verses down to prepare. But you can go through the Gospels and through the book of Acts and whatnot, and you can find both statements being made. I will rise on the third day, and after 3 days, I will rise. And again, that's two different things. If we wait for 72 hours to pass, then he rises, or he rises on the third day between hours 49 and 72. So what we have to understand is they were speaking in common tongue, common language. And so it's one of those things that helps us keep things in balance. Though, it says that it was the preparation day. Well, what was the preparation day? Well, what we find here is if he had the Last Supper with his disciples, and here we are on the next day, there was a high holy day that came after this, and there was also the regular Sabbath would be then at Friday night. But we find that they begin the whole cleansing of their houses. Modern Judaism backs way up to do this. They spend weeks preparing for Passover. But when you read Exodus 12, the order is pretty clear that you should celebrate the Passover. And then for the unleavened bread, after the Passover feast, you do the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and there's the cleaning of the house. And so this is the idea that evening had come, and because it was the preparation day, that is the day before the Sabbath, they wanted to come and they wanted to deal with his body. So we've got Joseph of Arimathea, a prominent council member, who was himself waiting for the kingdom of God, coming and taking courage, went into Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. And so here's this guy, Joseph of Arimathea. He comes, he's got a tomb in Jerusalem, right there by Calvary. And Pilate marveled that he was already dead. And summoning the centurion, asked him if he had been dead for some time. So when they found out from the centurion, he granted the body to Joseph. Then he brought fine linen, took him down, wrapped him in the linen, and laid him in a tomb which had been hewn out of the rock, and rolled a stone against the door of the tomb. And Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of Jesus, observed where he was laid. Now, in John's Gospel, we also read, it says, and Nicodemus, who at first came to Jesus by night, also came, bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100 pounds. And so they really did him up nice. Now, these two men, Pharisees, leaders of the people, this was still the Feast of Unleavened Bread, right? And what you find going on here is this cleansing that takes place during the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and it's a week-long celebration. But both of them are now defiled because they've touched a dead body. And so it is a beautiful picture of these two men defiling themselves ceremonially, but they're there taking care of Jesus, cleansing. They'd wash his body, taking all the blood off and all the stuff. I mean, you have to think there'd be blood, there'd be dirt, there'd be splinters, cleaning off his whole body, then wrapping him in the fine linen, packing him with all those herbs, those spices, herbs. It makes make it sound like you're cooking them, but you know what I mean. These perfumes and whatnot, the aromas, and they put it around him, and they bury him in the tomb. He gets to go in a new tomb in which no man has laid. Fascinating, you learning about Joseph of Arimathea's tomb. So he had his own custom tomb cut out for him in however he wanted it designed. When you're a rich man, you can build your tomb however you want. and it's one of those interesting, coincidence that it's just nearby, the Bible says. And so there they place him in a tomb in a garden, and that's where his body lays. Mary Magdalene's there. Mary, the mother of Joses, observed where he was laid. We find Salome, Mary's sister, is there, right? We've got a whole group of women, and John was there. So there we have the burial of Jesus. I'm sure I could do a whole lot more, but that's all I'll cover this morning. Again, sometimes it's hard for me to want to take the crucifixion and whatnot of Jesus and like normal find application for us, whereas this one is just sometimes it's just fun just to chew on the facts of the event and just better wrap our minds around it to know exactly what happened with Jesus. So there we go. God bless you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. We've got one chapter to go, and tomorrow we'll have the resurrection. Oh, but while I'm here, hey, you know, when you got it, forgot about this. I was almost going to say goodbye. You all probably already left already. Is there anything in here? Oh, I know what that is. So, if you've never been to Israel, Garden Tomb. This is actually a replica, and it's made to scale and to size, and you can take the top off, and whoop. If you look inside there, you walk in through the door. Where's my door? There's my door. Whoop. And off to the side. Everything's reversed for you guys. And so if I was walking into this tomb, you'd turn into the tomb and you'd turn to your right. And that section right there would have previously had a big stone slab above it, and that's where Jesus' body would have laid. It's in the tomb, and you look off to your right, and there you see where his body would have been laid. And it was designed, these tombs, where you could have multiple bodies in there. You could eventually, they would have had 1, 2, 3, or been able to put 3 in at a time. But that's, I won't tell you what this rock is. That's a secret. But some of the things I collect while I'm there. So, yeah. But the Garden Tomb, beautiful place to go check out if you ever get the opportunity to go see it. Here. For today, I'm going to put the door on the Garden Tomb. So now it's closed. We get to open it tomorrow. That'll be fun. So, all right. Now I'm saying God bless. See you guys later and take care.